In this video, I want to break down 6 side hustle ideas for a student, although I hope that you can still apply this even if you're not a student. So let's start with side hustle number 1, which is to be a writer. And the example I want to use here is a guy called Jack Rains, who has a fantastic newsletter that he has started while being a student at Columbia Business School. So around 4 years ago, he has started a newsletter about travels and finance, etc. Basically, a start he was interested in. He was sharing what he is interested in and his stories to the world. So at this point, since he has been doing it for a few years, he now has tens of thousands of readers regularly in his blogs. So every time he sends a newsletter, he can charge up to $1,400 per ad. And if he sends 4 newsletters per month, once every week basically, then he can make up to 4 times $1,400. It's $5,600 per month just from writing online as a side hustle alone while he is still a student. He is not doing something that complicated actually. He is following the basic and the most classic content model out there, which is to be a writer, an online writer or writer in general, which is the most primitive content creation method out there. In this model, you start writing online about your topics and interests and what you have experienced in your life and what you have achieved, and you help other people through your experience and telling them your stories, or basically writing about anything you're interested in. And you build an audience by doing this. You build an audience who are interested in what you are sharing. They are interested in your stories, your experience, and how you have achieved what you have achieved, all the goals you have achieved, your failure, everything. You share it by just writing online, and he is making around $5,600 or even more now probably by just having ads placed in his newsletter, which people are already interested in reading, and he have more than tens of thousands of readers already. So you can see this is a very lucrative business model. And if you have a sizable audience from at minimum 500 to 1000 readers, you can heavily monetize it because readers are heavily interested in what you are writing. So you can really charge heavy amount of money from your sponsors. But there is also another way he monetizes. He basically has a tab in his website. His viewers who are interested in what he's doing or his advice can book a consulting call with him for 45 minutes for $300, which is amazing because people can directly get advice from him. But also his time is not free. So by getting $300 paid per consulting call, he's also making significant amount of money from that. But there is no exact figure that I know of how much he's making, but tens of thousands of readers that are interested in his advice, if they want to book a call directly with him, even if 1% of them are booking call, that is still a significant amount of money. And if 100 people sign up to his consulting call, it's $30,000 he's making by just giving advice to people. And even if it's not that high, it is still a significant amount of money by just giving or talking with people, by giving them advice on topic you already write about and people who are already interested in what you are doing. So the conclusion of this side hustle is that it is a really solid business model. If you can build an audience, this is incredibly powerful and incredibly effective to monetize, as well as building a personal brand and building a presence online that is like powerful and can get you way more opportunity outside of making money. And there are various positives of writing online as well. One of the thing is the barrier to entry is very low. You can get started with the most bare minimum of thing, and you don't even have to like buy any expensive equipment or anything. Like you can get started with just your phone or the laptop you already have and internet connection. You don't need anything fancy, any setup or anything. You just have to start writing what you're interested in, writing about your stories and experience and advice that you want to give to other people, and you want to tell your younger self or your peers, your friends, just giving them advice. You can just start writing simple things, and people will start noticing you. Eventually, after you have given enough value to people, they will start noticing you. And apps like Substack and Beehive are literally free. They give you free ways to start a newsletter and writing online. You don't need to have a blog, website or anything. You can just start writing on Substack, and it will put your newsletter as article as well as newsletter by sending it to your email newsletter subscriber. They will do it both. You will have literally a blog that you have written as well as a category of newsletter, and you will have access to your email subscriber. This is an incredible model now. Free, zero cost, nothing to pay, and you can get started. Beehive also works in a similar way, I think. And think about it. If you start writing online, you can literally gain an international audience, especially if you write in English, because English is such a vast language and so many people speak it. You can literally connect to a huge pool of people, like literally in entire world. So building an audience through writing online or content creation has never been easier than now. With the cost being so low, even as low as zero, and the ability to reach so many people at such a fast time, this could lead you to become a millionaire by writing online, because the opportunity is so big now and you don't need that big of an audience to become a millionaire anyway. But that means that you writing or what you are writing about has to be good, because if you are not good, people are not going to buy whatever you are selling, or you won't attract good amount of audience. But this doesn't mean that you have to write like Ernest Hemingway or Shakespeare. It just means that people actually get value from what you are sharing, what you are writing about. And if value is subjective, but as long as you know it's valuable to you what you are writing and it will help people, then it will probably help them. So it's better to start writing online and you can improve so that you can help people even more and get them even more value. By the way, I also have a weekly newsletter. You can check that out, link in the description. Side hustle number 2 is to be a content curator. Now, content curator is totally different than being a content creator. Content creator is someone, I would say, who creates content and uploads them to the social media. Content curator is someone, I would say, who curates what other people have already created. There are a bunch of interesting ways of doing this, and one of these interesting example is this guy called Eduardo Morales. I probably butchered that name, but hopefully that's fine. He grew his Instagram follower from 0 to 200k follower in less than 2 years, where he curates and sells enamel pins. And yeah, it's kind of weird. What even is that? I don't even know what that is actually. But according to this article here, he makes around $3,500 per month from it. Now, the first point I want to talk about is 2 years is really quick. Because if you're thinking that 2 years is a really long time, then you have got this online business thing completely wrong. It's going to take time. It's going to take significant amount of time, especially if you are trying to make it big in the content business, because it takes time to develop the skill and to build an audience that you can monetize. Let's talk about medicine, for example. In the UK, it takes 6 years to become a junior doctor, a certified junior doctor, and 10 years training pathway down the line to be making 3k to 4k per month. So you cannot have the audacity to say that you want all this money and freedom, fun and flexibility without putting in the effort for a very long time. So anyway, I want to read a quote from Eduardo. Last month, I made $3,500 from my Instagram. Before starting at Pinload, the repost account where I curate and sell enamel pins, I had no experience building a social media or online business. I am also not an influencer. I am not particularly social. And I definitely don't have fun and exciting life to show off on Instagram. I learned how to monetize my Instagram account by making an effort to understand how the platform works and putting in the work required to execute the right activities at a high level for a long period of time. Trust me when I say, if I can do it, anyone can. Now, don't take this in the wrong way. I'm not telling you to go and make an Instagram account and grow it to 200k follower and start selling enamel pins. This is just for inspiration for what is possible, what you can possibly do. Because there is a lot of way to curate your content and curate other people's content so that you can monetize it down the line. And by doing this, you can learn different paths that you can apply to your own context. So another guy I want to tell you about is called Alexan Books. And he basically curates insights and summaries from book that he has read, and he also posts on Instagram and Twitter amazing book recommendations and snippets from each book he has read. But he's not really creating anything new, which is not really a bad thing, by the way. And he's curating. This is great. It's awesome. He has built a follower by just curating what other people have already created or from other people's content. So you don't necessarily need to be a content creator. You can be a content curator. But he has large enough audience now that he can monetize it through any way he wants or he feels comfortable with it, and he has done it through content curation rather than content creation. Now, there is, as much as you have seen the benefits of content related business, there's also problems with business that make money by relying on content creation and building an audience. Now, these problems of content business are, these businesses take a long time to start and get running. So it takes significant amount of time to make money compared to all the other businesses and revenue sources. But the solution to that is to start making money immediately by providing services to people, which brings us to side hustle number 3, which is becoming a thumbnail designer for YouTubers. So you have to understand one thing. The way to make money on the internet or in general is to provide value to other people, and providing that value to people who are willing and who are delighted to pay you for that value. And one of those people are YouTuber like me who are willing and delighted to pay for good thumbnail design, as we know how important it is to have good thumbnail design. and how integral it is to the performance of the video. Because if you don't have a good thumbnail, you don't have a good performing video. No matter how well edited it is, how good a stories and experience and advice it has, if it doesn't have a good thumbnail with the matching good title, it's not going to perform well. So a good thumbnail is very important for a YouTuber who is trying to grow his content business and personal brand. Hiring a thumbnail designer is very important, especially if the thumbnail designer has a lot of expertise on designing a really high performing thumbnail for the YouTuber like me, example. And there is an excellent example here. There is a guy called Dill Toma who at the age of 19 turned YouTube thumbnail design into a full-time job. Can you believe it? So basically he started at the age of 16 by making thumbnail or designing thumbnail for his own gaming YouTube channel. So then he get contacted by, or he somehow started to sell his thumbnail design for $15 to other gaming and other YouTubers because he already had the expertise by trying it. Then after graduating high school, he started taking this seriously and he realized that some big YouTubers are advertising for a thumbnail designer. And because he had the experience and the skills and he managed to do these things before and had done the things, he managed to land the job. And now he charges around $250 for each of the thumbnail designs. And he has multiple big YouTuber clients, which means he makes insane amount of money now. This thing started as a side hustle or hobby by making thumbnail for on YouTube videos when he was in school, literally at the age of 16. And now he can make several thousand, up to even 10,000 or more by just designing thumbnail for big YouTubers. Can you imagine that? That is huge by just designing thumbnail. And now let's talk about side hustle number 4, which is to be a research assistant. So the first example here is a guy called Birnie. So this guy was a PhD student and managed to land a job as Mark Manson's research assistant. And here is a clip where he talks about how he did it.
I was in my PhD program. I was taking this class that was really hard. I'd sat down for a study session with a group of students, and we were waiting on a few people, so I just decided I'm gonna pop open my laptop and see what Mark's been up to, because I hadn't checked in for a little while. And right there, it's big letters, "I'm hiring." And my heart just jumps right up into my throat. I'm like, oh, he's hiring again, what? And I read the description and it's like, I need somebody who can research, I need somebody who can write, I need somebody who is a self-starter, and everything. I'm just like, oh, this is too good to be true.
Wow.
It can't be,
Similarly, there is a guy called Billy Oppenheimer who landed his job as Ryan Holiday's research assistant by sending him a cold email. And this is the picture of the cold email that Billy sent to Ryan to land his job. Now, I would recommend you to pause the video and read this email in its entirety, because there is a lot of lessons you can learn from this about how to send a good cold email. And this cold email makes it really easy for someone like Ryan Holiday to say yes. And Billy has been working with Ryan since then. And big content creator as well as writer always needs a research assistant, especially when making a really thorough and research oriented content, or even a content that has evidence-based scientific point to prove. And if you are someone who can research and read articles on the internet, who enjoys reading books and scientific articles, you can understand them and you can tease out insights from them, valuable insights from your research. That is an incredibly high valuable skill that you can provide as a service to people who are willing to pay you, who are delighted to pay and dedicated to pay you because of how important your work is to them. And if you are someone who already enjoys doing research and stuff like this, and you can get touch with people who needs this service and pay you for this valuable service. Now let's move on to the side hustle idea number 5, which is to be a remote sales rep. So the idea behind remote sales rep is that many companies and brands need someone on Zoom calls in their phones or laptops so that they can sell their product to their customers. And if you can be the person to field their calls, to be able to talk to them through the process and educate them if the product is right for them or not, then every time you sell the product, you will get a commission from the product. And that is what a remote sales rep does. A great example is this guy Wouter Tennyson. He is a 20-year-old student from the Netherlands, and he tweeted at Sean Puri, basically giving him some free thumbnail advice. He found it so great that he offered him internship in his business. And now this guy sells ads for Milk Road Daily of Sean Puri and sold ads worth over $250,000 in 60 days while studying full time. Can you even believe that? He did a full-time job while also being a full-time full-time student. But this isn't really a traditional sales rep job, but it's close enough so we are using it anyway. So basically he gets a cut from the sponsors that he sells. So if you like this idea of talking to people and selling them or educating them, not necessarily selling them, but educating on them if the product is good for them or not, and you think that you can provide a companies and brands or businesses this service by being a remote sales representative, then this is a job for you. And if you find it comfortable for you, then you can make it tons of money by doing this. Now we move on to side hustle number 676767. There is no 7. So the actual side hustle idea number 6 is to be a web designer. Now this is really old school, but it's ridiculous how few good designers are out there, and it's also ridiculous how much startups are willing to pay for good web designers. But if you want to do it as a side hustle, you have to first learn the skill and be actually good, because remember, money is a exchange of value. People will be really excited and delighted to pay you on their own. If you are actually good at what you do, they will be delighted themselves because they see the value that you provide and how valuable and important it is for their business or their startup, that they will be willing to pay ridiculous amount of money just so that they can have a very good or very well designed website, because they know how important a website is and how important the aesthetic impression of a website is to their business, to their startup, and how it helps them to get sponsors or investors in their business, a startup or company. So this is why a website designer is so valuable. And an incredible example here is a guy called Misterek. I probably butchered that name as well. Now, around 8 years ago, he went through a split with his wife, which obviously had a huge impact on his life, relationship-wise and financially. So he decided that he would start to learn how to code from free tutorial and code academy. And he started learning it and he started getting better at what he was doing. So then he started to provide his service to his friends and family for free. So he started working for free, not literally asking for money for his service. And that worked as a great opportunity for him to improve himself and learn the skill even better, while actually getting work experience and feedback from his friends and family, which is really incredible if you are starting out. And then he went to Upwork for paid works with professional clients. And now he's making around $3,000 per month from just Upwork. And he can make even more, up to $5,000 to $10,000 or even more if he directly finds client, because big clients, big startup who are willing to pay the price just because they know how valuable a good design website and good aesthetically looking website is. So they are willing to pay the price and they are delighted to pay the price so that they can have an improved website, a good looking website. And if you have made it this far into the video, I would love it if you leave a comment on what did you take away from this video, what is your key learning point from this video, and what action are you going to take as a result of watching this video. And also a sub to the channel would be fantastic, and leave a like if you really enjoyed this video and get some value out of it. See you in the next video.